Welcome to Growing Chatham, North Carolina Cooperative Extension Chatham County Center's September 2021 podcast. I'm Tiffany Hancock. Have you downloaded and explored the Visit North Carolina Farms app? Get connected to farms across North Carolina. The North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services has launched the Visit North Carolina Farms app to connect residents and visitors with local agricultural experiences across North Carolina. Download the app and go exploring. See for yourself how it works. While connected to Wi-Fi, download the Visit North Carolina Farms app. It may take a few minutes to gather all the data. You can download it at the Apple App Store or get it on Google Play. Local food, farms, and fun. Learn about the state's top industry of agriculture and find experiences connected to farms across North Carolina. Learn more at visitncfarmstoday.com. The Visit North Carolina Farms app is expanding statewide thanks to funding from the North Carolina Trust Fund Commission. Individual counties or collections of communities are receiving Op-10 funding and marketing support to join the cooperative effort in support of local farms and local food. Visit tobaccotrustfund.org for more information. The Visit North Carolina Farms app is built for iOS and for Android devices. Now moving on to Chatham County 4-H news. Don't miss the Chatham County Pony Express. Are you a crafter, artist, seamstress, food preserver, beekeeper, an adult or youth, and wish to enter your items in a North Carolina State Fair? We've got you covered. Chatham County Cooperative Extension Center is offering a free delivery service of fair entries to all Chatham County residents. Some exclusions apply. For more details about the Chatham County Pony Express, please visit the Growing Chatham newsletter to access the link. Mary Dickerson, the Horseketeers 4-H club leader, updates us about the 4-H Equine Educational Contest at Southern Regionals. The Chatham County Horseketeers were well represented in the 4-H Equine Educational Contest at Southern Regionals in Perry, Georgia, on July 26th through July 30th. Victoria Smith was one of the two North Carolina horse judging teams, which placed fourth in oral reason, fourth in performance judging, and second in halter judging, and third overall. Samantha Durham was one of the two horse bowl teams, which placed first overall. Both Victoria and Sam were selected for the National Judging and Horse Bowl team, respectively, that will go on to compete at the AQHA Congress in Ohio in October and 4-H Nationals in Kentucky in November. Congratulations to Sam and Victoria, and thank you to Taylor, Ruth, and Laura for all that they do for the 4-H Horseketeers and the North Carolina 4-H. To read more, visit the Growing Chatham newsletter. Join us for our upcoming Equity and Prevention Lunch and Learn series, hosted by North Carolina 4-H Empowering Youth and Families Program and RISE Consultants. In this series, we will look at each step of the prevention planning process and discuss what the issues are, why they matter so much in the field of prevention and beyond, and how we can move towards solutions right now. This event is free and space is limited to the first 300 registrants. The sessions will run September 13th through the 17th, 2021, daily from noon until 1 p.m. via Zoom. Visit the Growing Chatham newsletter to click on the links for more details. Chatham County 4-H had a wonderful summer partnering with Chatham County Parks and Recreation for this year's summer day camps. The summer day camps hosted by Parks and Recreation lasted 6 full weeks for campers 4 to 13 years old. Chatham County 4-H and Chatham Artists Guild partnered to create nature journaling and nature diagramming activities for youth during the summer camps. These activities were facilitated weekly by 4-H summer interns Kristen Peters and Trishelle Moore. Youth learned how to diagram a leaf of their choice to identify plants around them using an online application and listened for nature sounds to hone their identification skills of what animals or birds were around them. Youth also received kits with a nature journal, coloring and activity sheets, lesson guides, and much more to take home with them for continued use with family and friends. To access links or to find out more about what's happening at Chatham County 4-H this month, please visit go.ncsu.edu/Growing Chatham 921. Matt Jones, Agriculture, Commercial Ornamental, and Consumer Horticulture Agent, shares with us upcoming webinars and publications from North Carolina State University. Register now for the Carolina Backyard Naturalist Program. Increasing urbanization, habitat loss, climate change, invasive species, water pollution, and other factors threaten the function and viability of ecosystems across North Carolina. Improving residents' understanding of their natural environment is critical to its protection and enhancement. North Carolina Cooperative Extension, in conjunction with other government agencies and universities, presents a 14-week online webinar series open to anyone interested in learning about the biodiversity, ecosystems, and conservation efforts in North Carolina. Please visit the Growing Chatham newsletter to access the link for more details. Now for the publications from North Carolina State Extension. Central North Carolina Planting Calendar for Annual Vegetables, Fruits, and Herbs. Central North Carolina is a wonderful place to garden. Almost any type of vegetable or fruit can be grown successfully provided you choose appropriate varieties and plant at the right time. The climate, the season, and potential pests all affect the selection of what and when to plant. For access to the calendar, please visit the Growing Chatham newsletter. The next publication is Kale. Grow it, eat it. Often called the queen of greens, kale is rapidly gaining popularity because of its exceptional nutrient richness, health benefits, and delicious flavor. Kale is one of the healthiest vegetables you can eat. One serving is both low in calories and packed with vitamins and minerals, including 200% of your daily vitamin C requirement. Visit the Growing Chatham newsletter to download this publication. Sustainable Vegetable Gardening Resources. Matt shares with us presentation slides from past programs. So visit the Growing Chatham newsletter and click on the link to access these valuable resources. The fall armyworm. Fall armyworm does not overwinter in North Carolina. Moths migrate into the state each year, and low caterpillar numbers can often be found by late May in the northern coastal plain. Only late planted corn after early to mid-May may become seriously infested. Thus, the major tactic for preventing loss to this insect is to avoid both late planting and very late maturing hybrids. The recent trend to plant tropical corn in mid-season for silage invites serious infestation by fall armyworm and other late-season caterpillar pests. To find out more, visit the Growing Chatham newsletter and click on the links that Matt has shared. Please visit go.ncsu.edu/Growing Chatham 921. Every month, Debbie Roos, Agriculture Sustainable Organic Production Extension Agent, features a farm on her Growing Small Farms website. This month, her farm visit snapshot features Turtle Rock Gardens. Let's find out a little bit more about Turtle Rock Gardens. Grower Nicole Rosenberger has been growing beautiful, sustainably grown cut flowers at Turtle Rock Gardens in Silk Hope for 3 years. In 2019, Nicole moved to North Carolina from Pittsburgh, where she had been growing and selling vegetables and cut flowers through a local farmer's market. Once in North Carolina, she started working at Red Roots Farm and soon expanded her flower operation on land adjacent to Red Roots. She quickly became known for her beautiful bouquets. Nicole markets her flowers through community-supported agriculture. You can sign up in the spring to receive weekly bouquets. She also is at farmers markets and wholesale at Chatham Marketplace in Pittsburgh. You can also find her at Carolina Eclectic in Ramsor. In addition to the fresh bouquets and stems, she offers dried flowers and wreaths in the fall. To read more about Turtle Rock Gardens in Silk Hope, follow the link in the Growing Chatham newsletter. Register now for a fall tour of the Pollinator Paradise Garden. Fall tours of North Carolina Cooperative Extension's Pollinator Paradise Demonstration Garden in Pittsburgh start at the end of August. The tours are led by Chatham County Agriculture Agent Debbie Roos. The garden features over 225 species of perennials, trees, shrubs, vines, and grasses, and 85% of them are native to North Carolina. This is a great opportunity to visit the popular gathering spot for honeybees, native bees, butterflies, hummingbirds, and beneficial insects, in addition to their human admirers. There is no charge for the tour, but registration is required, and the group size is limited. So please follow the link in the Growing Chatham newsletter to register. The tours fill up quickly, so register early. Take a virtual tour of the pollinator garden. Debbie has created virtual garden tours over the past year and is busy making more for this year. Visit the Growing Chatham newsletter to access all the past virtual tours. Visit our Chatham County farmers markets. Now is a wonderful time to visit one or all of our Chatham County farmers markets. You'll find amazing flowers and foods like strawberries, green garlic, cheese curds, tomatoes, plus gorgeous greens, meats, eggs, plants, and so many other wonderful locally grown products. Visit the Growing Chatham newsletter to access the links. Please visit go.ncsu.edu/Growing Chatham 921. Christina Britt, Livestock Equine, Field Crops and Forages Agent, is super proud of the Chatham County Youth Livestock Team as they participated in their very first competition. On July the 29th and 30th, the Chatham County Youth Livestock Team participated in their first competition. The Skillathon contest on July 29th included breeds, tools, feed, and meat cut identification, a written test, as well as judging hay and wool. The livestock judging contest on July 30th included judging 10 classes of hogs, sheep, goats, and beef cattle, and giving oral reason to explain their placings. We are incredibly proud of our team and can't wait for the next competition in October. We would like to recognize the following members for their awards. Avery Hatfield placed 7th Intermediate Division High Individual Overall, 4th Intermediate Division High Individual Sheep Judging, 8th Intermediate Division High Individual Beef Judging. Nathan Barber placed Intermediate Division Skillathon High Individual Quality Assurance. Congratulations! Christina Britt and Ashley Robbins hosted a pasture weed ID and management class at the Chatham County Agriculture Center on August 5th. This course was covered cool and warm season weed identification, control methods, toxic weeds, and more. We were very excited to see members of the community and discuss best management practices related to weed control. If you are a private pesticide applicator and need the V credit for license renewal, join us September the 9th from 6 until 8 p.m. at the Chatham County Agriculture Center for our last safety recertification course of the year. Do you need to know if you have credits or when your license expires? Contact Christina. She'll be happy to assist you. To register for the pesticide class or to contact Christina, please visit the Growing Chatham newsletter for the links by visiting go.ncsu.edu/Growing Chatham 921. Tribute Equine Nutrition and Isley Farm Supply presents Equine and Dine, coming up September 21st, 2021. Dr. Nicole Rambo, PhD, will discuss on how to prepare your horse for the winter. There are only 50 seats available, so you must RSVP by September 10th, 2021 by calling 336-228-1007. Again, 336-228-1007. This event will be held at Isley Farm Supply in Burlington. This is a free event. Ginger Cunningham, County Extension Director and Extension Agent for 4-H Youth Development and Forestry, shares with us some forestry publications and an upcoming webinar. The first publication Ginger shares is called Ask an Expert: How Dangerous is Wildfire Smoke? Recent wildfires across the United States and Canada created unhealthy air quality as far away as North Carolina. North Carolina State University Associate Professor Jennifer Richmond Bryant discusses how wildfire smoke impacts air quality and human health. You may access this publication by visiting the Growing Chatham newsletter. The next publication is titled Benefits of Using a Consultant Forester. A well-managed forest pays multiple dividends from the sale of timber products, improved wildlife habitat, aesthetics, recreation, and pride in ownership. Consulting foresters are your friends in the business, working on your behalf to manage your woodlands in the ideal way that you would if you had their years of experience, education, and skill. To read more about the benefits of using a consultant forester, click on the link in the Growing Chatham newsletter. The third publication, titled What's a Timber Sale Contract? What landowners need to know. Most of North Carolina's forest land is owned by private landowners, and many of these landowners will only sell timber once or twice in their lifetime. Selling assets such as timber, homes, land, etc., should be done with a legal contract. A well-prepared contract describes the sale process and legal requirements. To learn more about timber sale contracts, click on the link in the Growing Chatham newsletter. There's an upcoming webinar, Accessing Storm Damage Pine Stands. Dr. David Dickens from the University of Georgia will provide a general overview of storm damage assessment and potential management strategies for landowners. This event is scheduled for September 15, 2021 at 1 p.m. The ongoing climate crisis has led to an increase in extreme weather events like hurricanes and tornadoes in the southeastern U.S. Hurricanes cause extensive damage to forest stands from high winds and floods resulting from the heavy rains that accompany them. Hurricanes and tornadoes stress, damage, or kill trees by uprooting, breaking, bending, leaning, wounding, and flooding stands. This webinar will provide landowners with assessment tools, preventative action strategies, and management plans to mitigate long-term consequences and facilitate recovery. This webinar will cover such questions as what kind of storm damage do individual pines and pine stands sustain? What are ecological impacts of this damage? What management strategies are available? Click on the link in the Growing Chatham newsletter for more information about this upcoming forestry webinar. Please visit the Growing Chatham newsletter for the links by visiting go.ncsu.edu/Growing Chatham 921. Kaylee Lowy, Community Resource Development and 4-H Youth Development Extension Agent, shares some upcoming events from North Carolina A&T. There will be a small farm unit tour coming up September 10th at 1 o'clock until 3 o'clock. This tour will offer farmers an opportunity to visit specialty fruit and vegetable production at the small farm unit. Topics include updated information on ethnic market opportunities, local food price reports, and discussions of organic practices using cover crops, plastic mulch, and other techniques. The Small Farm Unit Tour is Friday, September 10th, 2021 from 1 until 3 p.m. Click on the link to register and to learn more in the Growing Chatham newsletter. Digital inclusion for North Carolina farm workers in a pandemic. Lessons for implementing and promoting a sustainable internet connectivity. Coming up in October, migrant farm workers, health disparities, and digital inclusion for better health. The keynote address is Digital Inclusion for North Carolina Farm Workers in a Pandemic, Lessons for Implementing and Promoting a Sustainable Internet Connectivity. That's coming up October the 20th, 2021 from 11 a.m. until 12 p.m. This will be a series of webinars with more coming up October 27th and November 3rd. Moving on to evidence for the need to connect farms to broadband service. The use of broadband and other advanced technology in agriculture is increasing. These applications enable users to obtain greater input efficiencies and yields while mitigating potential climate impacts and carbon footprints. Agricultural technology, or ag tech, can be deployed for crops and animal farming. As technology advances and prices decrease, ag tech adoption is anticipated to increase. Cloud-based and other ag tech systems rely upon secure and robust fixed and mobile broadband connections. Broadband availability in rural agricultural regions will be necessary to maintain domestic and international competitiveness and production capabilities. This document provides an overview of agricultural markets and technology in the United States and demonstrates the imperative to deploy, develop, and maintain broadband connectivity in rural U.S. agricultural regions. You may click on the link to see the full report in the Growing Chatham newsletter. Multiple paths to solve rural broadband access. In January, the Friday Institute for Educational Innovation announced its lead role in a pilot program to test emerging wireless technologies funded by the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction and the North Carolina Department of Information Technology's Broadband and Fracture Office to address the homework gap in North Carolina. Although the pilot program will run through the 2021-2022 school year, an initial report has been published with preliminary results. The three technologies being tested include low Earth orbit, satellite internet access, television white space, and citizen broadband radio service. Approximately 200 K-12 families will ultimately be connected as part of this pilot program, and quantitative data about the connection quality and speed are being gathered. To read this report, click on the link in the Growing Chatham newsletter. Please visit the Growing Chatham newsletter for the links by visiting go.ncsu.edu/Growing Chatham 921. Tara Gregory, Family and Consumer Sciences Extension Agent, shares with us her roasted okra recipe. She provided a step-by-step video. So let's join Tara in the kitchen. To view this video, please visit the Growing Chatham newsletter to access the link. Okra is in season. This curious little vegetable packs in the fiber and is a good source of magnesium, folate, and vitamins A and C. Okra is often fried or put into stews like gumbo. Have you wondered what other ways there are to cook okra that doesn't involve frying or stewing? Try this roasted okra recipe the next time you have some on hand. Enjoy! Here are the ingredients for roasted okra. 1 bunch of okra, 1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil, salt to taste, or about half a teaspoon, and pepper to taste, about 1/4 of a teaspoon. Moving on to how to prepare roasted okra. Preheat the oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Next, you'll need to rinse the okra, then pat it dry with a paper towel. Drying the okra helps it roast instead of steam in the oven. Slice the tops off and then slice each okra pod in half lengthwise. Place okra and oil in a bowl and stir until the okra halves are coated with the olive oil. Then lay the okra on a baking sheet with the seeds facing up. Next, add your salt and pepper. Roast in the oven for about 15 minutes. Give the pan a toss halfway through. If adding more time to achieve crispier okra, monitor the bottoms of the pods to make sure they do not burn. Like frying, this cooking method is a great way to minimize a slimy feeling the okra can have, but with less oil and hands-on effort. Tara also shares a publication, What to Consider When Selecting a Pressure Canner. Home canning low-acid foods, foods with a pH of lower than 4.6, like vegetables, meat, poultry, fish, tomatoes, or combinations of these foods require the use of pressure canner to proper process jars for food safety. Improperly home canned foods have been known to cause botulism. To find out some things that should be considered when selecting a pressure canner, visit the Growing Chatham newsletter to access the link to this publication by visiting go.ncsu.edu/Growing Chatham 921. Brady King, County Extension Administrative Assistant, shares with us a video presentation by Tracy Dixon, Community and Rural Development Agent from the Nash County Center. The presentation is titled Smart Money Moves Creating a Budget. This presentation is in 2 parts. Access the links to this presentation, Part 1 and 2, by visiting the Growing Chatham newsletter. go.ncsu.edu/Growing Chatham 921. This month, Tiffany Hancock, Marketing and Media Support Specialist, digs deep in the Extension archives. While researching, she came across the Dunlap brothers, creative entrepreneurs from Bon Lee. Isaac Hunter Dunlap and John Henry Dunlap were not your ordinary farmers. They were creative entrepreneurs who dabbled in a little bit of everything. Their entrepreneur spirit came naturally to them. Their father, Henry Overton Dunlap, had that same entrepreneur spirit. John H. Dunlap. He was a merchant farmer and a lumber manufacturer at his old homestead on the Fayetteville Plank Road near Sandy Branch Church in Chatham County. Mr. Dunlap is now promoting a mineral springs property of considerable magnitude at Kernersville, North Carolina, known as Dunlap Mineral Springs. The concrete work there is probably as fine as can be found in the South. Along with all 3 interests, Mr. Dunlap has never given up farming and is cultivating numbers of acres along the Bon Lee and Western Railroad and other places. This year, his crops will amount to approximately 500 bushels each of wheat and oats and 700 barrels of corn. That's from the Siler City Grit from 1918. John Dunlap's brother, Isaac Dunlap, the visionary. Isaac Hunter Dunlap loved his town of Bon Lee and Chatham County. He enjoyed giving back to the community while having fun with the community members. He will come up with some of the funniest ideas to bring people into his store. Just one example of how he would encourage folks to come into the country store. This was found in the Siler City Grit from September 1910. Corn guessing contest. Any customer of the Bon Lee Milling Company guessing the nearest to the number of pounds of corn in the ear that will be harvested on my 4-acre plot of ground known as my Bragg Patch on Tick Creek on the Palmetto Farm will receive a prize of 1 barrel of white daisy flour. Isaac Dunlap knew how to get people buzzing. He had folks submit teasers to the local newspaper on his behalf. Let's check out the teaser from the Siler City Grit from 1910. We have received the following letter from Mr. C.B. Riddle, agent for the Bon Lee and Western Railroad at Bon Lee, which we publish in order that our readers may look out for what Mr. Dunlap has to say next issue. Mr. I.H. Dunlap, who is always up to something new, is planning something of the latest in the line of a contest or position next week for some of the readers of the Grit. Isaac Dunlap knew who to market to. How do you think he was able to pull customers into his store in the early 1900s? By marketing to mothers and children, of course. Take a listen. This is from the Siler City Grit, October 5th, 1910 edition. Mr. Dunlap's proposition. Editor Grit. Some time ago, I spent a few days at White Sulphur Springs near Mount Airy, North Carolina. Not far from the springs lives a man who earns his living by making baby chairs. I purchased a few of these chairs and brought them home with me. I decided later to order a large quantity of them and give them to the customers of the Bon Lee Milling Company. So here's my proposition. To any customer of the Bon Lee Milling Company having a child under 3 years of age will be presented with one of these small chairs for his child. Should he be fortunate enough to have twins in his family, he will be given 2 chairs with greater compliments. These chairs will be numbered, and when you get your chair, your number will be registered on a book. On Thanksgiving Day, Reverend F.D. King of Jonesboro will deliver a Thanksgiving sermon to the mothers at Bond Lee in Hope Church. The mothers and children having received chairs will meet at 2:30 o'clock, at which time I shall treat all the children, and then all the numbers of the chairs will be placed in a box. Mixed up with some number will be drawn by some child that can neither read nor write. The child receiving the lucky number will be given $5 in gold. The chairs are now on hand at the Bond Lee Mill and can be had by making request of the miller. I have had some object in view all my life in the business world, but I cannot say now that I am troubled with business as I once was. Of course, I mean for my business to support my family and myself, but I expect to do more for the spiritual development of our people in the future than I have done in the past. So don't judge my proposition from a financial standpoint to be of greed or gain, but that I may come closer in touch with the boys and girls who are to take our places when we pass away. In bringing all these children together, I hope to be able to hold them in remembrance that they may make useful men and women. So when we older people of Chatham County are passing off the stage of action, we can say, "Onward, onward, let me fly. It's not hard for me to die, for my country will not suffer when I'm dead, as one stands now to take my stead." A few years ago, the great temperance movement swept over our country like a mad sea, taking before it ideas and isms that were never moved before. After this came the educational awakening among our people, and today the good cause is growing like the tender foliage of gentle spring. We have confronting us now the greatest movement for the development of our country and for our uplifting of the common man. This is the agricultural movement. I am affected by this movement from the center to circumference, and who wouldn't be when we stop to think if it were not for the farmer, the whistles of our factories would cease to blow. The mighty engine plowing through mountain and carrying her loads of provisions to city neighbors would no longer move. The ships whitening the seas with commerce of 100 nations would lay silently in port. The red, white, and blue would no longer wave over our institutions of learning as a symbol of protection. New York, with her millions of people, would pass away in a single night with hunger. The young man's ambition would be crumbled as the walls of an ancient temple. The poet would no longer sing his praises of 1,000 sleek cattle on a prairie. Kings would be heard to groan for what in their palace husband would forsake wife, and lovers would no longer stroll the shady lane while the sun sent the parting rays of evening dawn over the lake, and no one would ever be so dark. For the advancement of better farming in my community, I will add this proposition. For the year 1911, I will give 3 prizes as follows to the customers of the Bond Lee Milling Company. $25 for the largest yield of corn on 1 acre, $15 for the second largest yield to 1 acre, $10 for the third largest yield to 1 acre. The land must be surveyed or measured correctly, and corn to be weighed and verified by disinherited parties. After the corn is matured, each contestant will deliver to me 12 stalks of his corn containing 2 or more ears, and the contestant furnishing the best developed and heaviest weight ears on the said 12 stalks will receive in return 12 24-pound sacks of white daisy flour. All who wish to enter the contest should notify me as early as possible. Yours for prosperity, Isaac H. Dunlap, Bond Lee, North Carolina. Isaac Dunlap took care of his community and expected members of the community to do the same. He was Bond Lee's first mayor. Mayor Dunlap posted a notice in the Siler City Grit. We beg all bodied men living inside the corporate limits of Bond Lee to work on our streets and roads November 5th and 6th, according to the proclamation made by our governor and by our road commissioners of Chatham County. Isaac Dunlap was also the first president at Bond Lee Bank and Trust. The Dunlap family was always thinking ahead about how to make their community better for everyone. Isaac Hunter Dunlap passed away at his home on December 26, 1946, after battling a serious illness for 2 days, according to the Chatham News and Record. To read more about Isaac Dunlap and to learn more about the Dunlap family, please visit the Growing Chatham newsletter for the links by visiting go.ncsu.edu/Growing Chatham 921. From our community partners. From the Chatham County Public Health Department, face coverings are required for all visitors. Thank you for your cooperation. COVID-19 trends continue to worsen in Chatham County. Chatham County's COVID-19 case numbers are continuing to rise as the Delta variant spreads. A recent peak came on August 3rd when 30 new cases were reported, a number that had not been reached since late January 2021. In light of these numbers, the Chatham County Health Department continues to urge residents to get vaccinated, wear masks indoor public places, and be tested if they are exposed to the virus or begin experiencing COVID-19 symptoms. Please visit the Growing Chatham newsletter to click on the link for more details. There will be a COVID-19 health fair coming up Saturday, September 11th, 2021 from 2 until 6 p.m. To participate in this COVID-19 health fair, just visit 223 North Chatham Avenue, Siler City. There will be incentives, $100 gift card, and box of food. The vaccines that are available are the Pfizer, Moderna, and J&J for youth and adults. COVID testing will also be available, as well as information booths. Call today to reserve your shot. Walk-ins are welcome. 919-742-1448. Or you can email info@evhnc.org. Attention! Protect yourself and others. What you need to know about the COVID-19 Delta variant. The Delta variant is more contagious than previous variants and is rapidly spreading in the United States, including North Carolina. Unvaccinated people are at a higher risk than before getting and spreading COVID-19 and may be at increased risk for developing severe symptoms. Getting a vaccine is the best protection for you and others against COVID-19 and the Delta variant. Regardless of vaccination status, it is recommended that you wear a mask in all indoor public spaces, including in a vehicle or other shared transportation. For more information about COVID-19 vaccines, please visit yourspotyourshot.nc.gov or dial 1-888-675-4567. Come celebrate Chatham 250 at the Sidewalk Chalk Festival. The Chatham 250 Creative Arts Committee is hosting a Sidewalk Chalk Festival sponsored by Carolina Meadows, Saturday, September 11th, 2021, from 8:30 a.m. until 12 p.m. at the park at Briar Chapel. Express your creativity and create a sidewalk chalk masterpiece. Community welcome to spend the morning in the park to admire the artwork. Learn more and register at www.chatham250.com, or you can just visit the Growing Chatham newsletter and click on the link. Extension is everywhere. Visit the Growing Chatham newsletter to access the links to find us online. Please visit go.ncsu.edu/Growing Chatham 921. Well, that's a wrap for the Growing Chatham September 2021 podcast. Join us again next month for the October Growing Chatham podcast and newsletter. I'm Tiffany Hancock. Until then, have a great September.